You all know what time it is when you hear my voice. Get that crack pipe out of your mouths. If you want to know where the price of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the wider market is heading to, then this, my friends, is the video for you. Bitcoin is currently at a pathetic price, around 62,000 US dollars. Look at it. How pathetic. Meanwhile, stocks are having the most glorious time in all of history. The Nasdaq 100 is on track for its second best August this century. Bitcoin miners are all capitulating. There's no money in this. Why bother when you can make 10x profit on this AI craze? And here we are, where we're always meant to be. I told you weeks back, months back, that volatility will decrease. There's no one here. There is no one here. Hello. Bitcoin has been between a rock and a hard place for roughly 189 days. In the previous cycle, we've done the same thing. We were oscillating sideways, moving sideways for roughly 146 days. We're well overdue, my friends. The bull market support band, now it's the bear market support band, is sitting at 68,000 US dollars and some change. Every time we've hit it, we have been rejected. This time, we haven't even got close. Bitcoin and crypto is a story as old as time. Every bear market is the same. We have booms and glorious busts. This, ladies and gentlemen, is every single bear market. And the closest comparison is actually 2018. We're getting very close to our capitulation moment. In 2018, we went sideways for quite some time. Most of you weren't around in 2018, but during this period, he went sideways for quite some time. And in the air, there was hope, anxiety, fear, anguish, despair, and many other emotions. We're doing the same thing back in 2018. We're moving sideways and everyone is calling a bottom or calling for lower prices. If you look very closely, we even drop similar periods during that time. Now, a bear market normally takes 400 days, 365 days and some change. We dropped once, and then we made a new low, and then finally we made a third low. In 2026, we made our first low pretty much at the same period in 2018. Then we made a second new low. And finally, we're waiting for the third and final new low. History often rhymes, and a lot of boltards out there are complaining. They're saying the S&P 500 is making new highs, the Nasdaq is making new highs, stocks look incredible. Why isn't Bitcoin following? On my right is the S&P 500. In 2018, from open to close, we went down by 6%. In the same year, Bitcoin went down a glorious 72%. Don't ever compare Bitcoin or Ethereum or crypto to the most productive assets in all of history. I made this chart a long time ago, very long time ago, and you know the cycle, how it works. 1,057 days of a bull market, 1,057 days, and we had literally to the T 1,057 days. Then I got the fractals of each single bear market, overlaid it, and it looks remarkably similar. And everyone was fighting me. Everyone was commenting hurtful and abusive stuff, and yet we're winning. We are winning. Near the very top, ladies and gentlemen, I gave you the answer. No one sounded like me back then, but all of you sound like me now. And then I doubled down and made a video warning you that this will happen. Now they all sound like me. And the megaphone is bearish, okay? It's actually bearish. It's not bullish, guys. We could do something like this, but we head up higher, and then something like this, guys, yeah? And that's all she wrote. So here we are. After all the abuse, all the people spitting on my face, here we are. This is almost like a carbon copy. But before I begin, fractals do change. It's our job to put the anatomy on the skeleton. Now, these fractals ebb and flow between 2018 and 2022. It's more correlated to 2018 now, but throughout the entire bull market, it was very similar to 2022. We had a dead cat bounce in 2025. In 2022, we done the same thing, had a dead cat bounce, and there were no more buyers left. We had the same thing here. There were no more buyers left. People were calling for ridiculous numbers. I told you, get the fuck out and sell everything. We hurtled down into selling climax. Likewise, we hurtled down into selling climax. We formed a distribution pattern. Just like 2022, we formed an upthrust, ladies and gentlemen, and there were no more buyers left. We hurtled into selling climax. Likewise, we done the same thing, and we hurtled into selling climax. The volume increased. There was a wick. Everyone was calling for the death of Bitcoin. We had 2 selling climaxes in 2022. The volume increased, and this was just the beginning. In the previous cycle, everyone was calling for institutions. They're coming, they're coming, they're coming. Guys, they're coming by now. They never arrived until 3 years later. Likewise, the same thing happened over here. Michael Saylor and his cohort are going to buy. We're going to break the 4-year cycle. This is it. And nothing happened. Matter of fact, we headed into a selling climax. Michael Saylor is currently selling every day of every week, and he's not telling you about it. We've been trading in this range for around 192 days. Likewise, the same thing or something similar during that period, 145 days. We are currently oscillating in this tight range. Even the Bollinger Bands are remarkably tight. It means that volatility is going to come in either to the upside or to the downside. Now, during 2022, it was the exact same thing. The Bollinger Bands were very tight during that time, and likewise, we're getting the same thing. The bull market resistance band is sitting at 68,000 US dollars and some change. Will we head up higher, clip this area, liquidate some shorts, and head downwards? In 2018, we done something similar. Now, the volatility decreased and decreased and decreased. And as you can see, we made lower highs after lower highs after lower highs. And the most excruciating part is this. Will Bitcoin do the same thing when volatility decreases and decreases and no one pays attention? Finally, the last bulltard gives up. Each capitulation moment had massive drawdowns. From the peak to the trough, we went down by 28%. From 2018, we went down by 50%. And of course, how can I forget 2014? Where were you during that period? It went down by 40%. Ethereum is doing something similar. Well, it was in the beginning. In 2022, we formed an upthrust. Likewise, in 2025, we formed an upthrust. There was no more buyers left. We hurtled down into distribution. Likewise, the same thing happened. We hurtled down into distribution. We formed an upthrust in 2022, and likewise, we formed an upthrust in 2026. I was telling folks to get out a long time ago. They didn't want to listen, and then we headed into selling climax. Likewise, the same thing happened here. We had 2 selling climaxes in 2022. We had 1 selling climax / distribution, followed by another selling climax where the volume increased considerably. Likewise, we had a 3rd and final selling climax in 2026. I don't know if you're keeping up with me and I'm keeping you on board, or this is going over your head. Doesn't this look quite similar to this period here? Now, in 2022, we went up a massive 115%. In 2026, from the Uber bottom till now, we've gone up by 30%. Now, the $1 million question is this, and this is very important. In Bitcoin's capitulation moment, the final capitulation where it made new lows, Ethereum never actually made new lows. This could be the very bottom. We might see something similar where it moves sideways and then forms a higher low, especially if the Bitcoin and Ethereum pair is positive. Like we've kept on saying for many months. April 2025 was the very bottom of the Bitcoin Ethereum pair. Since then, we're forming the same pattern that we done in 2019. History rhymes, and we're forming a higher high. Now, the kicker is, if this, ladies and gentlemen, gets above this area and forms a golden support just like it did during this period, we will continue to outperform. At the moment, it hasn't held above the golden support. It needs to break above, hold, and continue to go up higher. One of the major issues for crypto participants is that we all just want to buy the bottom and sell the top. That's all we're here. You click on my channel, you click on my page because you want to buy bottoms and sell tops. I made it very clear. I put it on my X. I made it very clear that I bought right at the very, 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 very bottom. There is no surprise that 99.9% of altcoins are pure garbage. Now, there are some people that really, really love Tau. They really love it. And you can love it, you can enjoy it, it's fair. Do your thing, bro, do your thing. But I'm just gonna tell you the bloody truth. This is going down and this is distribution. You will not believe me until it actually happens. Unfortunately, that's the case. It's like Lord of the Rings. The guy picks up the ring and they warn him. They keep warning him, this is bad for you. This is bad for you. But he gets encapsulated by all the power, the beauty, the imagination, so on and so forth. Tau is very similar. I'll give you a prediction. I know you don't want to believe it, my friend. I really know you don't want to believe this. Now, we've all been here, but sometimes it's good to help a fellow brother out. Now, this, ladies and gentlemen, is Flare. It has the same price action, literally the same price action. From here to here, you can see very clearly that this is a distribution. Now, with this distribution, what tends to happen is if you put a trend line here to here and so on and so forth, you get the picture. We form lower high after lower high after lower high. And as a result, it just means that every time buyers sell into strength, every single time. And this is happening to Tau. And finally, it broke down. And not only did it break down, matter of fact, it's a textbook carbon copy. We done the same thing over here. We broke down, buyers stepped in thinking, oh guys, this is the bottom, volume stepped in and so on and so forth. We done the same thing right over here. Volume stepped in and this is as old as time. I can bet you $5 million US. I'll put it in the escrow, my friend, that this will continue to go down. Even if a billionaire like Jason is telling folks that in the next 5 to 10 years, Tau can 200x. Even the goddamn RSIs are identical, almost picture perfect. Yet you still don't want to believe me. Solana doing the same thing that he done previously right over here. I spoke about it in the previous episode. ADA, ladies and gentlemen, is in hell. It's literally in hell. BNB is moving sideways, oscillating between this area. XRP, it looks bad. I did tell you there was a comment that said I'm exit liquidity. I'm using people as exit liquidity. You must be new around here. I called almost the top. I believe XRP is going to consolidate around this area in the medium to long term, and then once again the bulls and the bears are right now fighting it out, deciding if it's going to go lower or higher. Me personally, I think we're going to the upside. I told my friends and my clients to sell. I know a lot of channels, they don't tell you when to sell. They just tell you constantly to buy and bag hold and become exit liquidity. I'm telling you now, folks, sell your XRP, guys. Sell your XRP. Take profits. You've had from November till now to make your mind up. Guys, take profits. XRP is heading lower. It's heading to this area. Dodge has finally came back home. It's in its accumulation area right over here. Will it head all the way down to this trend line and maybe form new lows? AVAX is struggling. It's doing really bad. These are not coins to pick up during a bear market. DOT has almost filled the wick. We have some other pairs that I want to look at. Arbitrum looks like a train wreck, an absolute train wreck. Optimism looks like a train wreck. We've been shorting all of this. Near looks like a train wreck. Ton, come on, I gave you the very top, the absolute top, the peak at top, but you didn't want to listen to me. We're looking at Arweave. Arweave is in the gutter. You have Tau. Well, you know what's going to happen to Tau. We have Sue. It looks terrible. Psy looks even worse. You don't buy losers, you only buy winners. Matter of fact, let me just show you the yearly on all of these altcoins. This is the top 100, then we have the top 200, then we have the top 300, and we have the top 400, and they're down by double digits. Some of them are down by 90%, some of them are down by 99%, and they still have more to go down. Many participants don't understand that shorting is the best option during a bear market. Why are you going to find the diamond in the rough when the majority look like an absolute graveyard? If you want to win by buying low and selling high, that's the biggest pain point of everyone in markets. Join our private members. Oh, before I go, we have a party coming up. We have a live stream. I know all the bulltards are going to hate us. They're going to hate us for buying low and selling high. I haven't fixed the date yet, but soon we're going to have a lovely party, live stream, gifts, everything. For the 5 people that have followed me from the very top to the bottom of this bear market, we're gonna have a blast. I can't wait. See you.